Hey everybody, this is Peter of BibleMoneyMatters.com talking today about Financial Literacy Month. April is Financial Literacy Month. It has been ever since 2003 when the U.S. Senate passed a resolution making that so. I think part of the reason why they passed that resolution was because people in the United States are just so undereducated when it comes to personal finance. They don't know anything about saving or investing, and the amount of credit card debt in this country is high and it's rising. So I think they wanted to have an effort to help educate people about their finances and how to get your budget and your house in order. I haven't always cared about my own personal finances as much as I do now. Obviously, right now I have a personal finance blog and I write about personal finance just about every day. So I've got a pretty good handle on where our financial house is right now. But back when I was growing up, at our house we really didn't talk about financial topics. We didn't talk about retirement accounts or compound interest or anything like that. I could see my parents were frugal and that they were stretching every dollar to the last penny, but at the same time we just didn't have any education when it came to saving and investing. So I got my first checking account when I got my first job in high school, and I got pretty good at balancing my accounts, but it wasn't until later on that I became more financially literate. In college, I got my first credit card, and that's really when my issues started, because I started putting things on the credit card. Got several $1,000s in credit card debt over that 4-year period. And it wasn't until I got married later on that we were able to get rid of that credit card debt, along with some other credit card debt that we got from our honeymoon and our wedding. That we realized, my wife and I realized, that we just didn't want to have that hanging over our head anymore. So we decided we were going to start paying cash for things, and we were going to have no debt except for our mortgage. We did finally pay off my student loan, and since then we've had no real debts except for our mortgage. So we didn't really become financially literate, however, until we took a class through our church, Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. We went through that course. We learned all about saving and investing, about getting rid of debt and paying cash for the things that we wanted, and delaying gratification. We learned all sorts of things through that class that really helped us to get to a better place and really know a lot more about where we were and where we were going to be headed. So it also got us in a place where we were able to plan ahead for unexpected occurrences in our lives, whether it was a major medical event or a car that breaks down or whatever. We were able to set up a financial plan, save an emergency fund, and then get insurance for other things that might bankrupt us otherwise. And we're glad that we did, because a couple years later we ended up having a major medical event where my wife went into the hospital. She was there for a month, and we had over $250,000 in medical care that we had to pay for. Luckily we had insurance, and most of that was paid for by insurance, but if we hadn't had that, we would most likely be bankrupt today. We also had other situations that popped up, from cars breaking down to me getting my appendix out. But since we had planned ahead and we had an insurance and we had an emergency fund saved up, we didn't go into any further debt. So some of the basics I've learned in our journey to becoming financially literate is, first, spend less than you earn and live below your means. Now that may seem common sense or basic, but it's just something that most people don't do. Plan ahead for eventualities. Make sure you have an emergency fund saved, and make sure you're buying insurance where you need it. Pay yourself first. Make sure you're saving and you're investing for your future. And finally, we learned the power of compound interest. We learned that by saving money early and often, if you save that money, it's going to compound, it's going to grow over the years, and at the end you're going to have a lot of money ready for you to use when you retire. Becoming financially literate wasn't something that happened overnight for us, but it did happen, and it's because we educated ourselves. We read books, we read personal finance blogs, and we took a class, most importantly, Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. It's something I would highly recommend for anyone else as well. That, or take another class through another organization like Crown Financial's Money Map series, or another financial class as well. So do that, read books, read blogs, educate yourself, and become financially literate, and you'll be far ahead of the game and far ahead of the rest of the country. And with that, I am going to pass it off to the next person in the Financial Literacy Month video tag, and that is Jennifer over at GoBankingRates.com. Leave us a video response or comment telling us why you're passionate about financial literacy as well.